Thanks for joining me on Easy Vaping, here to bring you honest reviews. Today we're here to talk about the Griffin by Geek Vape. This is RTA, and it's one hell of an RTA. In their biggest bragging rights with this is it has the biggest build deck, and it does. It's really easy to build on, really convenient for us as the end user to build with, for many reasons that we'll talk about in the close-ups. Oh, really good flavor, amazing flavor. I will say just as good a flavor out of this is my my favorite. I can't say favorite anymore. This is now I would call it an equal, on an equal playing field, as the Crius. This is really impressive. It's well engineered, really well constructed, and it works amazing. Wicks like a dream. No dry hits whatsoever. Even when I take this to both ends of the extremes when I do the wicking, I take it to the point where it leaks. I want to find out what that point is so I know not to do that. And then I want to take it to the other extreme of how much cotton can I use before it starts, not getting dry hits, because I never got dry hits, but until it starts not becoming that nice, wet, satisfactory vape. Like that. Extremely flavorful. And anywhere in between, you don't get a dry hit. But when you find that sweet spot, you can just vape it and vape it and vape it, and it just does great. That, by the way, was alien wire inside of here that we'll see once again in the close-ups. And that stuff's working great in here, fit great in here. Actually, I would say I had room to spare as far as inserting the wire into the post holes. This velocity deck that they put in here is, I think, the best built quality velocity deck I've touched out of any of the velocity style decks I've touched, period, versus the whether it be the velocity clone that I have. I wasn't one of the guys that bought the $130, $50, whatever it may have been, actual velocity, but I have the clone. And anyway, the quality of this far surpasses that. And once again, we'll talk more about that in the close-ups. But this is just a very impressive unit right here. Very well built and constructed. A lot of creative thinking putting into this that I think they did a great job with. So let's have another vape. Delicious. And there is a slight whistle where I prefer my airflow, unfortunately. No, I don't care for the whistle, but lots of them nowadays seem to have taken the baffles that they used to put inside of these out, and now you get more of a whistle. Anyway. Open it up a little more, and that whistle goes away. What if you pull a little harder? It comes back. So it can be tricky as far as if that's something that's really going to annoy you, that might be an issue for you, unless you like wide open airflow. No matter where I put that, or not with this wide open anyhow, there's no whistle, so there's no issue there whatsoever. And oh, wow, that is just tons of flavor, tons of flavor. This thing is just working like a dream. So why don't we drop down and take a closer look? Let's talk about this, get more familiar with this. So here we have the Geek Vape lineup. We have the Griffin, the Aeolus, which is, in my opinion, something everyone needs to stay away from until they fix these coils. We'll get back to that in a review coming soon. And the Avocado, which, since that doesn't show you a picture, I'll just give you a little broadcast. That's the Avocado. Pretty nice little unit. But on to the topic of discussion. We have the Griffin. You have the atomizer, a big bore drip tip, one replacement glass, 510 drip tip adapter, and a spare parts poly bag. And there's the Griffin. She's a beauty. Alright, so we'll pull the tank aside real quick. These are really tight fit. Alright, so there is our spare Pyrex glass. And then down here we have lots of O-rings. This thing comes with every O-ring you would ever want to replace, which is awesome. They don't always do that, and this one does. You also get 4 replacement grub screws. You have your 510 drip tip adapter that has 2 O-rings. And this normally came with the clear O-rings, but I took the clear out and I have installed the green. I prefer the green myself. Back to the Griffin. So this is the beauty. We have an airflow at the bottom here that you can turn all the way open. You can see right on through to the other side, and you can completely choke it off. Then I don't have this tightened or this tightened all the way, and we'll get to that right now. When this is brand new or you have cleaned it like I haven't for this video, these O-rings are really snug. I mean, that's tight. That doesn't really want to go down all the way, and you can get it down all the way, but then getting it back off, usually the tank section will unscrew. Don't worry, as soon as you put a little bit of e-juice on here, it's perfect. So it's like they thought of the fact that these were gonna get juiced up, and they're designed to be just right when they are juiced up. So when these O-rings are juiced up, this top section spins all the way down really nice and seats all the way so there's no gap. And then you can also get it undone easily enough without having it unscrew the tank section. Same with the bottom. This one's really tight, not quite as tight as the top. Well, it's easier to grab because you have the whole unit to grab onto. But this section right in here then tightens down, and then that gap goes away. And then from there you can see we have our juice flow control openings that, as you can see, mine aren't all even. Not a big deal. It still works great. This thing is just so tight when it's dry. Just trying to rotate this to show you the juice flow control is so tight when it's dry, but don't worry, it's like that for a reason. Like I said, once it gets juiced up, this thing spins with just the right amount of tension. So as you can see, if you get it to the right spot, they do all get wide open. Then right here, we have our wide bore drip tip. Nice Delrin wide bore drip tip. Then you can put your drip tip adapter in there and put any old drip tip you prefer in. And I have no fitment issues with that. Everything I've tried fits down in there just fine. And up top, we have these nice large juice openings. Very large. You can just dump stuff in there really easy, whether it be a dripper or a bottle. I've had no problems with it getting out over the sides or anything like that. So when you want to access your deck, you just unscrew this, and you have access to your deck. Simple, very simple. And here I have a alien wire build. You can see it's a 4-wrap. This one is on a 2.5 millimeter pin, and it fit into the post holes great. I mean, I had tons of room to spare yet. I believe these post holes are 1.5 millimeters in diameter, so nice and large post holes. Inside of your chimney, that's the actual room you have to build, is inside of here. That is your area to work with, but this is where it's going to be restricted at. So inside of here, we have 16.04, 05, 03. On their website, I believe it states at 16.1. I'm not going to complain about that tiny little difference. Tons of room to build inside of here. Now this ring is just kind of sits down onto there, and that is kind of what will hold your wicks into these channels. You can do this one way or the other. You can wick this and then put this down over top to kind of pinch your coils down into there, which is what I think I would recommend to be the easier one. What I would do is put your wick in here and then guess this length. You know what? Here, let me just grab some cotton and we'll wick this up quick. So here we are with some cotton in it. Personally, I like to apply a little, shake this up. I like to apply a little e-liquid first to help mold my wicks, to help get them to stay in place a little better. I don't want to completely saturate them, but I do like to get them slightly moist. All right, now that some of that is soaked in a little bit, we will kind of lay our first wick over. And you see how it gets all the way to the bottom? That is not what we want. So that's going to be too long and we need to trim. But let me kind of get the other one over first. For one, it helps hold it in place so you don't kind of pull it through the other direction. Two, it helps you judge this a little easier, at least myself. All right, so something like so, but we don't want all that length. So nip some off, and I'm going to nip some off. And we'll just once again take another look, see how this is. Oh, another thing I like to do personally is right at the end, I like to thin this out. It helps it so it wicks a little better. It doesn't jam up these holes so much, because once this ring goes on, it actually can pinch your wicks. And you can imagine if you have too much wicking inside of there and it's pinching it down, you know, it's not gonna wick as well. It can't see past as well. So I like to thin those out a little bit, and I want it to just be inside of there. Now this might be the final, and it might not be. I don't know until I get my ring on and I judge it once again. So then we will lay the opposite side down. And once again, definitely too long. This will just give you an unsatisfactory vape. You know, it just doesn't stay too wet. If that's kind of what you want more of a drier, weaker, not so saturating vape, then that's what you would do. But I doubt you're buying this for that. Get yourself a starter kit if that's what you want. Look about so. Looks close. Once again, I'm just going to do about a 45 on the end of each corner here. Now this one here is, for my liking, this is a little too much cotton. Getting better, about perfect. I'm not going to touch this one, and we're just going to take maybe a hair off of that one. So more so, this one right here is the one that needs to have some material removed. So I can just, what I do is just back this off part way. If you have some nice small scissors like this, you can just get in there and snip some off. Or you can also take the ring all the way off. Alright, now this is good enough. It's just a little bit down into each channel. On some RDAs, I find it's best to just get them to sit right at the edge right there. On this one, it will flood. I have done this and it does flood if you don't put it down just a little bit. I like to have it kind of just flush with that ring right here. You know, it's just in there. You can see it. You know, just as far as this ring goes, that's how deep it needs to go in there. That's what I find works best for me. And then here you are. And you can apply some more juice if you would like. And then you're going to be pretty close to ready to putting this back together. Oh, something I have forgotten about. One thing I love about this deck, another thing that I love about this deck, is this raised air hole right here. See how that's raised up just a little bit? That helps from getting any e-juice down inside of this hole. That's huge. So because of that, you also want to make sure that your wicks are not touching that channel at all. It's going to be less touchy than some that don't have the channel, obviously because this is raised so it can't get down there easy, but if it still touches, it has the ability to seep down into there, so you don't want them touching that at all, which is not hard to stop from happening. This is a really easy deck to build on, very easy to build on. If you're someone that has trouble building on tiny decks, like say the Goblin Mini, that deck is a pain in the butt to build on. I mean, this thing is 10 times, not 10 times, this thing's a lot bigger than that. Way easier to build on. So if you're anyone that has trouble building on decks, or you just don't want to do an RBA of any sort, or an RTA because it's hard to build on, you might want to give this one a try. It's really simple, very easy to build on. I'm really enjoying this quite a bit. Alright, there we have her mounted up onto the cuboid. It's ohming out to 0.12 ohms. It's just currently sitting at 35 watts. Normally I vape this setup about 50 to 55. So very nice and even. Get to about what I like. 54 is good. Nice and even. Everything works great. This thing wicks like a dream. It wicks like a dream if you do it how I did it. At least that's my findings. It wicks like a dream. So now that we have this all ready, we can take our tank section and we will just slide that down over here. And to help this, like I said, these O-rings are really tight. I'm just going to kind of set this here and let it splatter a little in there for me. So that way it's lubed up already and it's going to go all the way down much easier. And see, now that that's a little lubed, you see how much easier this spins? That's crazy. So now we can see all the way open, all the way closed. Back to what I was showing before though. See how that one's around the halfway? That's just about all the way. That's about halfway, and that's about all the way. So, they're a little off, but if you just go a little farther, all the way, all the way, all the way, and all the way. So there's still complete adjustability here. It's just not quite even all the way around. I don't find any issues whatsoever with that, not at all. But you want to close those off then, and then you can take your preferred juice, stick it in there, little angle. I like to leave a little room at the top. I have found that if you fill these all the way, they don't, not all the time, but some of these units don't wick very well if there's not that pocket of air at the top. So I like to leave a small pocket of air at the top. Then you take your top cap and you literally just set it up there. Find that smooth spot. Thread this. Oh, see how this is tight? Doesn't want to go down all the way. There's that gap. I forgot to because this is still clean. I forgot to just take a little e-liquid right there and kind of run it around that ring a little bit. I went a little excessive on that. But now, boom, easy, all the way down. So it seems that they thought about that. They took it in mind that you want this to, they've designed it so that it works best when it's in the used application like it is. Once you get the e-juice on there, like it's always going to happen, that's inevitable, that now it works good. So it's really tight when dry, but once you get it into a usable position, that it goes down and threads down and comes back off, no problem, without taking your tank section apart. So there we are. Airflow's wide open here. There we have it. She's vaping like a dream. I will mention that no matter what I do, there's always a tiny little bit of e-juice around this area. I don't know exactly where it's coming from. It doesn't appear to be coming out of my airflow. It's not normally wet in there like it is now because I don't normally flood it. But it seems that it's just maybe the press fit. It's coming out a little bit. Not a big deal. Some people that are OCD, if you have problems with just a tiny little bit every now and again, you might touch it and see a little bit on your finger. Nothing major, no drops, no puddles, no pools. But just a little bit sometimes, every now and again, you will see right on this edge. If that's something that bothers you, this might not be the tank for you. But overall, I'd say all the pros about this, all the positive things about this, far outweigh the very few negatives that this unit has. All right, so now let's come back up top. I'd like to give a shout out to my buddies down at Low Light Vapor for hooking me up with the alien wire for the purpose of this review. The stuff works great. It's in Whitewater, Wisconsin. If you're local, you're interested, ask them about it. They'll hook you up. Thanks. Alright, now that we've had a closer look at the Griffin by Geek Vape, let's talk about some pros and cons. Let's start out with the pros. This thing is easy to build on. It has the 2-post, 4-hole velocity style deck in here that is very large, which makes it easy to build on. I mean, if you're the kind of guy that has trouble building those tiny little coils and you always wanted an RTA but can never build inside of them, I'd give this one a try. The quality of this thing, superb quality. It just feels really well overall as far as the deck goes. Like I said, I love those grub screws. To me, I have seen other people say that they had issues with the grub screws, but me personally had none. We have also, speaking of the post holes there, that we have the very large post holes that can accommodate Clapton wire, accommodate the alien wires you saw, and any other types of wire that's larger. I'm not saying it fits everything, but it can fit some pretty hefty wire inside of it. It has lots of options with it as far as they give you lots of O-rings. You can do the clear, you can do the black, you can do the green. They have the 510 drip tip adapter that just sits nice and flush. I mean, you don't even know, once I put my preferred drip tip on here, you don't even know that's an adapter. That's a really nice, innovative design right there. I really like that. Nothing wrong with the Delrin drip tip that it came with, very nice as well. I like that it has this juice flow control. That's pretty firm. I do like how firm it is. It just it makes you feel a little more secure. It has a full gold-plated positive pin. Adjustable positive pin. Gotta love that. I think they should all be gold-plated. You just better conductivity through there. We have the raised bottom airflow, so it's harder for the juice to that's all around your wicks and whatnot in your deck area to get down into your deck section, your base section here. Those raised air holes work great. We have the large top fill openings that you can just grab the big old bottle and just right down into there, no problems, no spilling over the side, as long as you pay attention. and it's got the removable deck. I mean, all you got to do is flip this upside down, take it out. There's your deck. That's really convenient. Now on to what I don't like, or some negatives or subjective negatives. But some people might say that it's a downfall that you can't do a single coil. The top cap, I would like it to have some sort of texture to grab onto it easier. It looks slick, yes, but I think it could use a little texture. And by texture, I don't mean like this that the Aeolus has on it. I think this kind of texture, personally, is gaudy. But that's once again, that's my opinion. But some sort of texture, maybe like this bottom ring has. The bottom ring has just some grooves in there that give it a little texture. But I think it could use a little texture anyway. And the threads seem, like I said, they feel a little sharp. I haven't cut myself. I even pressed and just tried for S&Gs to see what would happen. No, they did not cut me. But you can just feel it when they feel sharp even when you're threading it on and off. So very, very minimal. If anything, the only thing I could we'll just leave it at that. Those are the downsides, and everything else I'm really impressed with, really happy with. I almost forgot. I do sometimes have a little bit of e-liquid around the base. I've never had any, say, leaking out of my air holes. I'm not sure where it ever comes from, and it doesn't always do it. I mean, every now and again I'll just find the slightest little bit on there. Currently don't have anything to speak of, but I'm not sure if it's seeping through where they press fitted this together or what. But that could be an issue. Not so big, like I said. I mean, I barely can notice it, but I have noticed just a tiny little bit of e-liquid on the outside around the base here, and I don't believe it's coming down through the air flow, because that all looks really good in there. Now, let's say I was out ATVing, I'm out mudding, having fun, and this flies out of my pocket, and I lose my RTA. Hopefully not the lava box as well, but anyway, the RTA. Would I feel like I'd have to go out and buy that? Yes, I'd be distraught without this thing. I love this thing. I can't say enough of how amazing and fulfilling and saturating this flavor is. Just really intense flavor out of here. You gotta love the flavor out of this thing. If you're a flavor chaser, this is for you. If you're a cloud chaser, it can do that too. Either way, this is just a great RTA, and I would highly recommend this to my best of friends. No questions asked. Gotta love this thing. Well, anyway, thanks for joining me on Easy Vaping, where I bring you honest reviews. And I'll see you next time real soon with the Aeolus. By Geek Vape. Currently with a clapped-in coil in here. We'll get to that real soon. Like I said, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.